Doubt you can see me all that well, but that's okay. So I just made it home. Just got back from the game between Beaver Creek and Milford, the girls. Uh, Listen, this has been our best performance of the season so far. If you're Beaver Creek, I wouldn't hang my head on this loss because you girls came out and you put up a fight. You feel me? Like for a whole 80 minutes, you girls came out there and fought. And this is against one of the top teams in the entire state, one of the toughest teams in the entire state. They're up there right next to the current state champion, which is Seton. Honestly, Milford is probably second. Maybe they're first. Who knows? We'll see. But this is the recipe for success for you. This is what I've been talking about since before the beginning of the season, about how our midfield is going to have to step up and make plays. In my pregame speech or whatever, the video that I made, I talked about how our midfielders have to step up and make plays. I talked about how they cannot hang back with the defense. And in this game, for the most part, our midfielders were extremely active and it was getting things done. Yeah, I mean, there were some situations where our touches weren't the best. Our pass accuracy is off a little bit. But for the most part, this is what you need to be a winning team, especially with this specific group. This group belongs playing an aggressive style of soccer. I told you that at the very end of last season, after we lost our last match, I said that next year we're going to have a really aggressive team, and that's the style of soccer that this coming group is going to need to play, is that aggressive style of soccer, because it's going to serve us really well. And tonight that proved to be true. Now, that aggression wasn't there against Bellbrook, so you saw the result, right? So moving forward, when you're playing against Springboro, who's also a very aggressive team, who's a very fast-paced team, you're going to need the same energy that you brought into this match tonight. Springboro plays a lot of counter ball. They play quick counters, so their counters come a lot quicker than what you saw with Milford today. But the fact is, if you can get your midfielders to be as active as they were tonight, then you're going to be in good shape in that game. I don't know if it'll be a win or a loss. A lot can happen, but that is what you need from your midfielders. They need to be hustling up and down the field and playing the game the way that they are designed to play. The midfielders belong in the middle of the field. That's why they're called midfielders. They can't be hanging out with the defenders, can't be trotting along. And in this matchup, we looked really good. You guys were stepping in, breaking up passes, stepping in front of the ball. You were winning a lot of, well, not a lot of 50-50s, but you were winning some of them. You were winning second balls, and it was looking good. Defensively, you looked fairly polished. There were some little mistakes here and there. I thought that sometimes we still didn't drop on time, and it ended in foot races and, that kind of thing. But ultimately, I thought the defenders did a really good job stepping in, stepping to the ball, breaking up runs. It looked good. And don't even get me started on our offense. It wasn't perfect. We were still kind of playing a little bit of kickball, but we were there. I mean, the activity was there. Aaliyah was doing Aaliyah things, like the stuff she always... The thing about Aaliyah that I really love is there's no chill moment from her. Like, from the opening whistle until the last whistle, every minute she's in the game, she's giving you a lot of positive minutes. You know what I'm saying? She comes to play every single time. And she's the player. She's not a dirty player, but she's the player that does all the dirty work. You get what I'm saying? So you need that grit, that toughness that she brings. It doesn't just it amplifies everything, like the crowd, that gets the crowd going, it gets your players going. When they see that, it brings out the best in the other players. And it's the same thing with like Reese Brown. She was getting things done tonight, and it was like making me smile. I was up in the stands like happy because like this girl's getting it done. Like, I mean, Reese is one of those girls who I saw it last year, and it was against not Milford, but M&D. We lost that match, but she was doing certain things in that match that made me really proud of her. Like, and I didn't even know her at the time. I knew she was a freshman, and I'm like, this kid has a whole lot of potential. As long as she, whatever it is that drives her to play this game, to play with the intensity that she plays with, as long as that stays inside of her, she's going to keep on improving. It's not going to be this year, but maybe next year, maybe the year after that. But I'm telling you, I said it at the end of last season, she has potential to be one of the best players in the entire state. Maybe the best player. I don't know. We'll see. But as long as she keeps going in the direction that she's going, it's going to, like, she's going to be a force for this team. Like, if I was coaching this team, Aaliyah and Reese are in the game together all the time. Now, when they start figuring out how to really connect with each other, they're going to be a real problem. And you can add in like Becca and Olivia, and then you can have Kinley follow up. And Caitlin out there. Once that little small group right there learns to really connect and learn how to feed off of each other, that's when this team is going to get really dangerous. So during practices, I would run that group that I just named. I don't go to your practices. Maybe you already do this. I don't know. But it's that group right there, that's going to produce a lot of positivity for this team offensively, because any of them can score, right? Olivia and Kinley, man, they are oftentimes, I want you guys to really start looking for those about 25-yarder shots, somewhere in that area, because in high school soccer, it's pretty much always there. That's almost always a spot on the field that's completely left unmanned, because the defenders are always worried about the girls coming rushing in, but they're forgetting that there could be a scorer lurking on the outside on the perimeter. So that's why if you're Kinley, if you're Olivia, you can advance, but stop and hold. If there's an area there and it's completely unmanned, you can stop and hold there and wait for somebody to give you the ball. And that's when you want to try to fire the ball from there. If there's no better options for you, then take that shot. Show the keepers, show the defenders that you're willing to take that shot, because it gives them a whole lot more to worry about. And then eventually, if you start letting them shots fly, they start making mistakes. Defenders start rushing out because they get anxious. They're worried about this shot, especially if you're like right on the money. You might catch their goalkeeper off the line, kind of sleeping. You just never know. So that's why you kind of want to give the opposing defenders and the keeper a whole lot of different looks. Fire shots from all sorts of different angles, off angles, you know what I'm saying? Off balance type shots, because you just never know what can happen from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fall in love with those perfectly squared up shots inside the box, because it's not always going to be there for you, especially when you have interior defenders who can swarm you in a matter of seconds. So when you have those shots from those outer angles, take those shots. It's what made Peyton Cole such an awesome player, because she would fire the ball from literally any angle and virtually any distance. So that's what made her so hard to defend, because she was so good at creating. I just went dark. Hold on, it's dark. I'm scared of the dark. She was so good at creating her own shots from any angle. So look for those shots, especially against these next two games. You're going to really want to look for those shots. And if it's working for you, there's no reason to turn away from it. So that's it, man. I'm always really impressed by Milford soccer. They're a really tough team, man, and that's what makes me even more impressed with this Beaver Creek squad today. I walked out of there smiling. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to some of the parents, and I'm telling them, like, man, I don't know if everybody sees it the way I see it, but we just had a really close match, down to the wire, with one of the best teams in the entire state. That's how I saw it. That's what I took away from this. And I really hope that you girls and your coaches take the same thing that I saw and run with it, because there's so much this team can build on. There's a lot of talent on this team, and you just got to build on it. I knew that at the end of last season, we lost a whole lot of our core players, but I knew it was going to be like a rebuilding process. It's going to take time for this team to figure out what kind of team it's going to be. But once you girls figure it out, you're going to be tough. It's just as tough as anybody. You're not going to have a perfect season this year. We're not going to win the state championship this year. I'm going to be honest with you. But it's about building it for the future. What we're going to look like next year. What are we going to look like the year after that? Because this team has so much to build on. And maybe we do go deep into the tournament. Who knows? A lot can happen. I've seen some really crazy things happen in this state when it comes to this sport. So that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to talk your ears off or anything. I just want you girls to know I'm really proud of you. I thought you girls really went out there and played your little hearts out, and I don't think anybody can be upset about that, even with this result. You take the positives away from this game. I'll see y'all at the next one. Hopefully we can get that one.